Hello and welcome to the Series 12 panel discussion, and today we are discussing... I've forgotten the name of the episode. What was the name of the episode?
Can You Hear Me?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, you can see I'm really just heavily invested and obsessed with the current series, and I'm so enthusiastic I can remember all of the names of the titles. This isn't even the first time on the panel discussion of this series where I've just completely forgotten the name of the episode. What's happening? Anyway, so, we're discussing that episode, and today I have with me Lily.
Hello.
Panel discussion debutant Jacob, who's just muted himself.
Hello.
And Brian.
Yay!
Alright, so may as well just get started off then and talk about the Doctor. Would you like to talk about the Doctor in this story, Lily?
Well, I don't know really. I mean, I don't know, she seemed quite subdued. I don't know if anyone else found that. Maybe not. I just found her a bit... I don't know, I found the bit with Graham odd, which quite a few other people seemed to as well, but I don't know if anybody else on here did.
Yeah, that is a bit of a talking point. It seems that they haven't really figured out her character yet. It's like, all the time she's like, listing off Wikipedia articles about historical figures and stuff like that. And at other times, like, she's just really socially awkward. I just don't quite get what they're going for with her at the moment.
Well, whatever the case of her character is, there's no denying she does definitely take a back seat to everyone else in the episode.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's probably something that isn't necessarily an awful idea, considering the companions have had a massive backseat for this whole series. I'm not necessarily sure that the way it's been done in this episode is great, however, but I still think an episode that kind of gave the companions a bit to do was probably a good idea.
I mean, I think the scene with Graham's been, blown out of proportion a bit.
I don't know, I mean... Because it is really out of character. It's just like, okay, I'm not going to talk about this now. I'm just going to run away from your problems and just pretend that you didn't talk to me.
It's not like she, whipped off her hair and said, haha, Graham, I'm going to take the mech out of you for leukemia or something like that.
Would have been better if she'd done that.
Just the way she sort of nonchalantly brushes it off doesn't sit particularly well with me.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Really. I don't know, I've always found the Doctor to be a bit more comforting than that. Maybe. Maybe not all the time, though. I don't know. I mean, I can't testify for every Doctor ever, so...
But if the Doctor was a completely unempathetic character in a sitcom and there was a laugh track on that scene, it would have been very funny. But it's not any of those things.
Yeah, I agree with Lily. If you want to see an example of where... a companion who has a medical condition, that drama being done right, look no further than, of course, Big Finish Productions with the Sixth Doctor and Evelyn. That's how you do that. But this was not correct. That was weird, and I didn't like it.
It was off. The thing is, I don't know whether she could have done that in a different way and it wouldn't have been, but I agree.
Yeah, I mean, overall this episode, I don't know, I mean, I'll probably need to rewatch it because I couldn't quite get into it on first viewing, but again I felt that I just wasn't really feeling Jodie in this episode, because I've actually enjoyed her in a lot of the episodes of Series 12, surprisingly, despite really not like her at all in Series 11 and Spyfall. But here, again, I mean, she didn't have that many scenes that really grated with me, but the Graham one and a few bad jokes kind of made me not as much of a fan of her in this episode, whereas I have actually, not been a big fan of her in the past few episodes. I've at least enjoyed her Doctor a lot more.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that, too. It's just sort of, with the past few episodes, it seems like we were getting somewhere with her, and this just seemed like a bit of a step back.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
It feels a bit like season 24 McCoy if he was made out of wood.
That's not even a bad take, to be honest. But the thing is, she has been getting better in the past few episodes, but they have just taken another step back. I don't know. I still don't know quite where they're trying to go with this Doctor. They should have worked it out by now. Maybe they'll pull it together in the finale because they at least have been trying to do something in the last few episodes. But we'll see.
I think I've got a pretty good idea of where they're trying to go with her. It's just that this episode doesn't follow that idea particularly well.
Yeah, no, I think I know what you're talking about, Brian, but yeah.
This is more Series 11 Jodie rather than past few episodes Jodie.
And it's funny because it seems to be...
more master plan time.
It's all the ones not written by Chris Chibnall, where she's actually enjoyable.
Was this one written by Chris Chibnall?
Well, co-written by Chris Chibnall.
In part, yes.
Oh, well, Praxeus was alright for her.
Oh, yes, but I suppose so. Yeah.
No, I couldn't get into that. I don't know why.
Well, I couldn't get into it either, but Jodie wasn't that bad. She actually had a good joke. I mean, that's bloody hell.
No, it wasn't Jodie at all. I just don't know.
Anyway, is there anything else to say on Jodie now before we move on? Nope. All right, so we're going to move on to the companions, who, as we just discussed, take a lot of set the stage in this episode. And I think it might just include the companions and side characters into one, since their story in this episode is pretty intertwined. So would you like to start, Jacob?
Well, I thought that Yaz has finally got the development that she needed.
It's a step in the right direction, maybe, but I'm still not sure.
I mean, it gives more backstory to why she's so... If you had that segment in Series 11, I think it would have worked a lot more.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
It does feel like a little too late, almost.
And then... I don't know, Ryan and Graham were just Ryan and Graham.
Yeah, I mean, they were decent in this story. I felt that they've kind of been a bit of a step down a lot of Series 12 because they were like one of the few real highlights of Series 11, whereas they've taken very much a back seat in the last few episodes, and they certainly aren't taking a back seat here. But the problem is that they've tried to intertwine like all of the companions and side characters' various problems into like this sci-fi story, which is something that can be done and can be done well. Look at Amy's Choice is a really, really good example of that. But I just don't feel it quite works here. I don't think they managed to get the two to properly come together. There's so many scenes that just feel awkward and out of place in the episode. Like to do with the companions, where they're like, just even like after the plot's finished, there's just loads of scenes about them talking about their problems for scenes upon scenes, and I don't know. I felt it felt a bit forced in places.
It feels thematically for Graham like he should have left in It Takes You Away.
Yeah, because they haven't really went anywhere with him since then, and that was kind of the closure on a lot of his character.
Because if he left in It Takes You Away, then I think the last one of that series with the Tooth Fairy in, if you give him Graham's dialogue to Ryan, I think that would have worked a bit more.
Yeah, because one of the big complaints I had about Ranscott Av Kolos is that it was completely out of character for Graham to want to murder somebody like that.
And then I think if you had like Graham spliced in this series,
yeah, I mean, three
like
companions is too
Tyler
many,
sort of thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
I actually like that they rehashed some of the stuff with Graham this year. In this episode specifically, I thought that was actually really decent, because I know certainly in my case it just makes it seem a bit more human. Once you get over something, it still comes up again and again, and it's still not a pleasant memory. Like, when you think about it, it fucks you up for a little bit, which it does in this episode to Graham. He is affected by it, and I don't know, I thought it worked, but that's just...
I mean, I just don't have a massive amount to say, really. I mean, yeah, it was a positive step for Yaz in terms of trying to develop her a little bit. It's not I'm still not sure about her character yet. I still feel there's a ways to go. And then Ryan and Graham, they did get more to do in this episode, but a lot of it felt very awkward and very tacked on. We're not tacked on, just in the sense that they're trying very hard to force together the plot of this episode and what they're going through like themes of the plot and whatever, and I just feel that it doesn't quite work. It's just butting heads against each other.
Dylan, I think I actually missed something. Maybe you can fill me in. Yaz's nightmare scene, I don't know if you remember it, but
I'm not gonna lie, I don't quite get it either. I mean, I think so I'm gonna disclaimer right now, I need to rewatch this episode because I didn't really take a lot of it in. So
I took plenty of it in, but all the Yaz stuff with I can't remember the Eternal's name. The Nightmare Man is just what we're gonna fucking call him, okay? All of Yaz's stuff where she has her nightmare and it's on the road, obviously that comes from the depression bit that's at the end, but there's another girl in the nightmare who, like, does a fucking jump scare thing that... Did something happen a few episodes ago or last season that I can't remember? Who the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Wasn't that... I don't know, I must be going mad. I thought that was her sister. That wasn't, though, was it? Because I thought the implication was something about her sister.
Well,
yeah, we're all very confused about this.
Clearly, I was half. To be fair, I was half asleep. So.
I'm very hung up on this, because it can't be her sister because her sister was there with her before Nightmare Boy shows up.
And that wasn't her. You're talking about the bit where the girl appeared, aren't you?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the bit I'm talking about. Like, who the hell was that?
Who was that? I thought it was her sister.
Okay.
But obviously not. I don't know either.
Can I just say that the Syria bit felt completely unnecessary? Like, in an episode that was already too crammed with too many ideas and plot points and character bits, to have that going on at the same time felt like way more than a bridge too far.
Mm.
But yeah, anything else to say on the companions and the side characters before we move on to the plot?
Just a bit wonky.
Yaz should have handed Brexit a 50p coin to that woman.
God damn it.
Alright, so we're going to move on to the plot now. So we'll just talk about the villains along with the plot and whatever. It actually did have a reasonably interesting idea, I thought, but didn't really get a whole lot of screen time. Do you want to start, Brian?
Yeah, I feel like this is... See, I've done the concept of doing main characters having nightmares myself, and it's never as good as you want it to be. I think in everybody's head, it can always go better than what it actually turns out to be. So, I don't know. I'm a fan of the concept of this episode, not a fan of the execution. I wasn't a fan of the execution when I tried to do a story like this. Yeah, I just think it's something that works as a concept, doesn't quite work when you actually put it down on paper.
I mean, nightmares, when you have them, and I think obviously we all had nightmares at some point, they're so insane that it's something that's very difficult to recreate in a fictional form. You need like a very visionary writer to get something like this, as right as you're saying, Brian. But yeah, it definitely does work better in concept and in execution. I don't know. I mean, I just didn't find myself being that engaged in it, and I felt a lot of that was just it just didn't quite. It's an episode that didn't quite fit together.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if you had a really good writer, a writer that Doctor Who will never have, that it could work really fucking well. Like, but it just doesn't here. It's too hard.
And it's certainly not
right for like a little television writer. I think that's just my opinion.
And it's certainly not a concept that you can squeeze down into 50 minutes, but not only in 50 minutes, but also deal with all of these pre-existing side characters while at the same time going to like Syria and Sheffield, while at the same time deal with the Doctor's stuff. But it's way too much for one episode. Again,
you just have to deal with the multiple locations. like the Chris Chibnall era is known for it now. You can't have a
It's
Doctor
all
Who
it does-
episode that isn't across 3 locations.
I've noticed this. It's
Sometimes
like
4.
it's artificial. Like basically, because a lot of his episodes are quite dull, to artificially inject some life into them, he seems to have just employed multiple locations as like a cheap way of just kind of making it feel like it's going somewhere. Is that a fair assessment?
But yeah, my main issue with it is the nightmare bits didn't quite land for me, didn't stick the landing, and so while that Eternal is really, really cool, I liked the Eternal a lot. I liked the performance.
Yeah.
It just falls flat, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
I
let's
think-
compliment his performance, but it didn't quite work because of the script. Anyway, go on, Jacob. Sorry for interrupting.
I think if we were doing this episode, they needed to take a leaf out of 2 stories books. I think it's The Nightmare Man from Sarah Jane Adventures and The Mind Robber, with some of the like fear elements in that.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose one reason why the Mind Robber really works is just its limitless imagination and its willingness just to go completely off key. I don't remember a thing about the Sarah Jane Adventures, and I haven't watched them since I was quite young, so I couldn't really comment on that.
Well, there's this like one episode where they have a Nightmare Man, and it's more about like the characters, what he fears because he's going off to uni, and it did it in a way that was thematically satisfying that I don't think this episode gives you.
So was that just about one person in their nightmares then?
Yeah.
So do
It
you not think
focuses on one character.
So do you think maybe the reason that works and this doesn't is because this tries to focus on like a billion different characters, whereas that one just develops one well?
Yeah, but saying that, you've also got stuff like the God Complex that does this idea a lot better.
That's true.
And I think one of the main problems is you shouldn't have shown the Doctor's nightmares at this point.
Yeah, I just don't know what to think about this story, to be perfectly honest.
I missed the Doctor's nightmares. What were they? I must have zoned out because I can't remember.
Yeah, I've been
Right.
zoning out like quite a lot over the past 2 episodes.
I've been
Chibnall's
zoned
Doctor
out
Who
during Praxis.
really isn't resonating with me.
I liked Praxius a lot, but this is... Now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't actually pay a whole lot of attention to the episode.
Yeah, nor did I. I mean, you know, if I rewatched it, maybe what I'm saying could be invalidated, but I don't know, I just couldn't get into this at all. And I feel that a lot of the things it tries to do, while laudable, it doesn't have the time to do, nor the skill to do.
I agree with that assessment of this episode.
And as a result, it just kind of, it fell flat for me. I just don't really have much else to say, to be perfectly honest. We're near the end of the panel discussion. It's only been like, what, 18 minutes or something?
It's kind of a disappointment, honestly. Like, if it was really bad, we'd have something to talk about. If it was not really bad, I guess we'd still have something to talk about. But this is just weird.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to forget about it, like, tomorrow, probably. Which, there's nothing worse than a feeling like that.
Dylan, I
The
just
thing that I
finished
won't
it, and I'm
forget is
already
the-
forgetting about it.
Like,
The thing I
okay.
won't
It's
forget is
like-
the crappy CGI monster that they have to put in.
Oh god, yeah, that CGI looked really bad. I mean, a lot of the visuals in Jones Years actually have looked quite good, but that looked, wow, that looked like early 2000s level of CGI.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the werewolf from Tooth and Claw.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of, but I couldn't remember what it was.
That CGI has actually aged quite well.
I watched
That's
that
true,
the other
that's true.
day. Like, it's not that bad. Actually, alright. Well, I thought it was.
Well, I
what
mean,
do I know about
look, I
CGI?
mean, it just looks a bit like a PS2 game, you know? I mean, I don't mind bad effects. Obviously, my favourite show is Doctor Who, but I find that CGI, when it's not done well, rankles me a lot more than practical effects that are done badly.
It reminded me of that thing from the first Torchwood finale.
Ooh, yeah, that thing. The weird fucking
Oh.
Satan thing. Yeah, that was
I
weird.
was gonna say I don't remember. I haven't seen Torchwood since it aired, probably. Whoops.
I think really the main message to take away from this is that the Chibnall era needs to stop trying to do so much in so little runtime. It's like even Spyfall, which was 2 parts long, it's almost as if to make up for the fact that it was 2 parts, they added like so many ideas it wasn't even enough. Like 2 parts wasn't even enough. And in all these 1-parters, there's always just too much of them, and they're bursting at the seams. They never get to develop anything properly. And just.
Well, they need
Just not
half-hour
getting into it.
serialised serials.
I don't even necessarily think it needs to be that. There just needs to be longer developed stories that,
I'm thinking more
however,
about-
because you could still do it with like 45-minute episodes, or maybe if you go for like say a Sherlock format and have it like 3 1.5-hour episodes or something,
I'm
and like
thinking
a
more
story
like
each one.
budgetary-wise, it makes more sense to have. So you got 10 episodes here. If you slash them in half in serialised formats, it makes more sense for me anyway, to have it 20 weekly episodes, because then you bring back the cliffhanger, which will hook people onto it.
I can see that, but there's definitely yeah. I mean, it's the format of how they would do longer episodes is definitely a discussion all of its own that could go on for a very long time. But I think the main point right now is just stop with the 1-parters, and when you do 2-parters, don't try to pack enough like content for 8 parts in it. You know?
Can You Hear Me was so dull. We reopened the let's get serialized again.
No,
conversation.
Brian. I have brought this up every single series to our panel discussion.
I promise you, this is derailed somewhat into that.
Yeah, but this happens every series to our panel discussion so far, because I just can't get over it. It's just so it's just frustrating, man.
To be honest, from this series, there's only going to be 3 stories that are going to be remembered, realistically. Spyfall, Fugitive, and the Sideman 2-part, the finale.
I mean, the marketing's already saying that, because already saying only 1 more episode left until the finale, as if like the episode's a chore
like
to get
padding.
over with. But that's the point. Why have all of these little episodes that are just padding that never can develop their own themes? Why not just have like all these episodes have more parts, so you don't have to have all this filler and can actually just write like less but stories, but more good ones, more developed ones.
I feel like it's trying to do Buffy, but without the episode number to fully realise it.
I haven't seen Buffy, so I can't comment on that.
They normally open with a 2-part opener. There's normally a story arc dump in the middle of it, and then a 2-part or 3-part to wrap it all up. It just feels like Doctor Who's trying to do that, and it's not really working.
Yeah. Oh well. Anything else to say before we move on to final thoughts? Nope. All right. So, gonna wrap up with our final thoughts. Would you like to start, Lily?
Final thought. I mean, the thing is, I enjoyed bits of it. Like, I loved the creepy guy. He was a dude.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There was great bits of it, but overall, perhaps it just didn't fit together as well. Like, the thing in Aleppo had potential to be good as well, but I don't know, as something else, like not maybe with that story, perhaps. The thing is, I liked most of the bits of it, but some of them just didn't fit with each other, is how I see it.
Yeah, I can see that. Jacob?
I think the old creepy guy was good. Good bit of casting there. I would have preferred this story if it was more about exploring the nightmare landscape. A bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, something more like the Celestial.
So more like,
Earth.
yeah, it's more like that. So actually go and explore Ryan's world where it's all on fire and there's dregs and everything.
rather than just kind of breeze over that.
Mm.
Yeah, it felt like it was focusing far more on the kind of mundane character drama than the really interesting sci-fi concept, which I suppose probably contributed to being a bit dull.
It's got resolution syndrome.
Yeah, because that episode, like, I loved the Dalek bit. That bit was great, but it was just always broken up by these scenes with Ryan's dad that had nothing to do with the plot. Although, at least they do have a bit more to do with the plot this time, but still, it does break up the episode to kind of make it a bit. Ooh. Anyway, Brian, would you like to go with your final thoughts now?
I think Lily put it exactly how I'd put it, so that's what I think.
Yeah.
I know you probably want more from me to lengthen the video out of it, but she got it
It's
right.
fine. We're over 25 minutes. It's all good. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much to add. It's just like, again, it's an episode that has flashes of brilliance, but not enough time to develop it in, and kind of, explore this weird, creepy nightmare landscape. Like, that sounds like a really brilliant and interesting idea for an episode, instead of just like jumping between different locations, having like a million different like inter-character drama bits. It's just like they just try to do far too much in far too little time. And again, a very strong idea, very well cast. The creepy nightmare man. All of that kind of just gone a bit to waste. Maybe I need to rewatch the episode because, as I said, I didn't really get into watching it that much, but still. I don't know. Maybe the marketing is right, and this is all just filler. We just need to skip to the finale now.
I want to know who the girl was, because I thought it was Yaz's sister, but obviously not. Fail.
I mean, maybe it is, but it still doesn't make sense if it is. I don't know.
No, I don't know. I'm gonna have to rewatch it as well, because there are bits of it that, like you say, I don't remember or don't know or whatever. So
I don't recall the Doctor having a nightmare at all. That happened?
It's the Timeless Child stuff.
That happened?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
no,
Is this like a Berenstain universe thing?
Do we all watch the same programme? Are we sure?
I'm sure we do.
Yeah, no.
Well, I hope.
I'm sure we did.
I
sure
hope.
we're all good.
I hope we have much more to say on next week's panel discussion. This one, the last episode. Wow, we've just had. It's almost just been depressing how little we've had to say on the episodes. But oh well.
Oh, I'm on that one too, aren't I?
Yes, you are.
Yay.
All right, so I'd like to thank Lily, Jacob, and Brian for coming on.
Oh, we're supposed to say things now.
Well, you can say goodbye. You don't have to. I mean, it's just.
Fuck you.
Yeah,
Right.
fuck off.
Dude.